Hi everyone, my name is Holly from LMN. Today I'd like to welcome you all for the Crew to Crew, where I will be covering how to set up yourself on the customer portal. I will go ahead and get started. I just wanted to mention if you have any questions, please feel free to ask them throughout the presentation. Any questions that I don't get to will be shared to our support team and we'll follow up via email responding to all inquiries. Any questions that you do have, you'll find in the GoToWebinar meeting box that there's actually a chat area where you can ask your questions there, and I will go ahead and answer them. So today I will be covering how to invite customers to the portal. So what we're looking to do is invite yourself so we can get you set up to beta test to see what your customers will see on their end. In addition, we're going to publish an estimate as well as an invoice to the portal. So I'm just going to switch screens and get started here. Okay, so you should be able to see my screen here. In front of you is the LMN CRM. I'm going to start under the settings. If you're new to LMN or new to the customer portal, the first step that we need to do is activate the portal with some defaults. So I'm going to move over to our settings menu. That's the icon here, the gear icon, and click settings. Once that's loaded, I'm going to scroll down to LMN estimating and then estimates portal setup. So I'll just run you through these settings. These settings are going to be your settings by default. You can customize them at a customer level and or change your defaults when needed. So we have a couple permission settings to what's visible in the customer portal. And then over on the right side, we have your unique customer portal link that you can embed on your website. If you're looking for any tips on how to do that, we did recently add a resource or knowledge base article to our help desk that can walk you through tips on how to embed if you're interested in getting payment via the portal. In addition, if you're looking to receive payments, you'll need to connect with our partners over at Card Connect to apply for a merchant account. So just wanted to draw to your attention where these settings setup is. And this should be done prior to moving on or looking at any information as it regards to the portal. You won't be able to do so until this is at least activated. So once this is activated and you're pleased with all the settings here that again can be customized at any point, I'm going to go back over to the CRM. So I'm going to go to LMN estimating. And go to the CRM. So the purpose of our meeting today is to go over how to beta test so you're familiar with what your customers will see. In order to do so, I would recommend setting yourself up as a customer in the CRM. I've gone ahead and done that. So we always recommend using a hashtag, including that's internal. This way you can clearly see it. It's really easy to find. This isn't a real client, this is internal. You can use your company information here. Any estimate templates or job templates that you create down the line can all be stored under this one unique internal customer. So I've already created this. If you don't already have one, from the CRM, you just hit contacts and then add new. I have my internal customer here. And then what I'd like to do is test out the customer portal. So I've gone ahead already and I've activated the portal. Just want to highlight that in order to send an invite, so once you've created your internal customer, you're going to send an invite to invite them to the portal. You can choose the recipient, and then to pre-fill the email address, you're just going to click this. I've already asked myself to come to the portal. I'll show you the email that your customer would get and that you will get if you follow these steps. So this is the email that your customer will receive to invite them to the portal. I also wanted to share that should you not go through this method of inviting your customers to the portal, and instead you just want to get some estimates out to your customers, you do have the option to invite your customer to the portal by sending them an estimate. So when you send an estimate, it's going to, if they have an existing account, it's going to say log in to view this estimate. If they don't already have a portal account, then they'll get this email as well as they'll have the estimate attachment. So there are those two options. So you can either start inviting people via sending them estimates, or go ahead and invite them either one by one or in bulk through the CRM. So your customer would see this, they'd be able to create an account. Once they create an account, they fill in the information here. They'll get a confirmation that the account was created. And you would also be able to see this information in the customer portal. So I can see that I sent the invite, and then once my customer created the account, I can see that the invite was accepted. Next, I'm going to take you over to permissions. I would suggest playing around with these options so you can pick and choose what you like best to show your customers. As you have data, which we're going to get into in just a moment, by checking and unchecking these options, refreshing in the customer portal, you'd be able to see how it'll affect what your customers will see. I have someone that's saying the customer portal page is not loading. Any trouble suggesting tips? If you could please get in touch with our customer support, just within your account, click here and just let them know the portal page isn't loading. And I just want to clarify, is it this customer portal, like you already have an account, or is it an invitation that you've clicked the link and it's not loading? If it is the invitation, it's quite possible that it's not loading because it does expire within 48 hours if you haven't created an account. Okay, so back to the permissions, playing with the permissions, make adjustments as need be. The live map, same thing. I'll show you what the live map will look like. The live map is only going to show multiple job sites if you have quite a bit of test data. So we'll touch on that once we get into element time, and we'll go from there. A benefit of activating the portal before you invite your customers to join the portal with a merchant account from Card Connect is that this would be defaulted to online payments. So it's a bit more of a seamless transaction. So if you activate the portal, get that merchant account so you can receive payment via credit card or ACH if you are a US customer, then when you go ahead and you invite your customers, this would be defaulted to on. Wanted to also share that we do have the auto charge visibility. So you can see customers that do have auto charge enabled as well as what the charge limit is. So that's helpful for reoccurring maintenance bills where your customer doesn't want to have to log in every month and make payment or go onto your website and click the link embedded to make payment. They just want it to come out of their account, almost like a hydro bill example. So here, if they have auto pay enabled, which they would self-enable themselves, we're just going to go ahead and process that amount. For an example, $1,000 a month. Okay. And next, I'm going to show you how to publish an estimate over to the portal. So since this is a test customer where I'm just playing around, getting more familiar, you might have, if you've already have an internal customer, you might have some templates that you have set up under your internal customer. You could certainly publish those to the portal. Anything that you do, you can pretty much undo. I'm going to go to estimates here, and I don't have any estimates. I just created this customer for our meeting today. I'm going to click New Service Estimate. Going to create it under myself, press OK. And I'm going to quickly build this estimate. So I'm going to go to Services and Pricing. And instead of manually building it, I'm going to import the work areas from another estimate. This is an advanced feature that not all users know about. It's a really quick way to build estimates, or if you really liked how you planned out an estimate for another or work area for another customer, this is a great way to bring it into another estimate and customize as needed. So I'm going to choose this one, hit select, and bring over both of these work areas. Since this is just a test for beta testing purposes, I'm not going to make any adjustments here. All I'm going to do is I'm going to activate the contract because I'm also going to bring this very same estimate into Element Time to create a job and then later to invoice. Is there a standard credit card fee or ACH fee? Thank you for your question. There is not a standard, so please contact them at Card Connect. You can see their information just for applying for an account in the settings. I would reach out to them if you're able to provide a statement of what your current fees are. They do have a meet it and beat it policy in place, but there's not a standard fee, no. Okay. Gonna go ahead and just create the invoice contract for our per season. And the only reason I'm doing this is because I want to be able to see to later publish an invoice into the portal. Sure, that'll do. Okay, calculate. Okay, next I'm going to go over to print reports. So this is where you would be emailing the proposal from LMN. Under the print reports menu, select your proposal. Obviously, you'd want to take a quick look at it before sending it off to the customer. Should you be satisfied with what you see here, going to go ahead and just hit Publish Email Customer Proposal. You can change the name, so maybe internally you want the proposal to be named one thing, but externally to the customer you'd like to customize it. You can make an adjustment there. You can also adjust the reply to email, include any specific comments, and then I'm going to hit OK. So it's going to use the primary contact's email in the CRM. So in this case, it's going to be the email that I use to register for this account. You can include comments here. We'll view all this after in the portal. This is essentially a two-way communication where you can ask your customer a question or provide a comment, and they can reply back. You can also upload files here as well. I wanted to just point out a couple other options within the portal. We do have a Remind Me. You can look at all these options individually, either within the CRM or within the estimate itself, or there's also bulk options. So the bulk options are found under the CRM portal activity, and then for the proposals, the bulk options are found under the Proposal tab here. So I'm just going to export this job into LMN time. So then I can create excuse me, then I can create an invoice to publish to the portal, and then we'll check out the portal. So I'm going back to the customer info page, and I'm going to click time export. And I'm just going to do that once again. I have my job here that I'm going to import, so I'm able to easily find this. I'm just going to call this LMN Test Holly. You can also sort by date, but for me, I'm going to go ahead and delete this after the fact. This is a shared account. I'm going to make it super simple for myself. I'm going to click Import Now. Now that I've clicked Import Now, I've created a job in LMN time. So this job would be visible when I'm looking at job site information, either on the live map or in a list view. The job, because I activated invoicing, it brought over my invoice schedule. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to generate an invoice for this customer for the first of the month. And it also brought over my services. If I wanted to test an example what a per occurrence invoice would look like or an hourly invoice would look like, you would need to create a timesheet in order to log it against this job to see that information be visible in the customer portal. For timing wise, I just wanted to show you how to get a invoice over to the portal. So I just did a per season contract. So I got my invoicing activated. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to go to the Invoice tab and click Generate. And here I have my proposal, or sorry, my invoice. I'm going to look at my invoice here. I'm going to go ahead and run it. Once it's run, the process would be is to view it. If you're satisfied with what you see, you can either do so in bulk or you can do so individually. The next step would be to approve it. Now that it's approved for testing, we're just going to put it in the portal, but the workflow would be to publish it to QuickBooks. So when we do get payment, we're exporting the payment against the invoice in QuickBooks and then publish it to the portal. This example, I'm just going to publish it to the portal. Wanted to share as well that we do have features in place that you can do for to send reminders for customers of the invoice. We also have the customer, when they receive the email that there's an invoice ready for them, they can go ahead and just make payment within that email versus signing up for a portal account. The benefits of signing up for the portal account is that their credit card information or ACH information would be stored. If they're just making payment through the payment link in the email, their information wouldn't be stored and they wouldn't be able to pay ACH. So I have my invoice here for my customer. I'm going to just send reminders, why not? And then next, so we've created some data. We've created the account, we've published an estimate, we've published an invoice. Let's go over to the portal and check out what all this information is going to look like. Wanted to encourage again, please go ahead and ask any questions that you do have. The more the merrier. Any that I can't get to, we'll forward off to our support team who will respond via email. So I'm going to go back to the customer portal. I've already logged into this account because I've created all this data. I'm just hitting refresh so I can see the information that I've just created. So the first thing I wanted to share was the job sites. I only have this one job site. When you look at our beta test article or other articles or videos that we have in the portal, you might see a bunch of job sites lit up. In order to see that, you would have to have more than one job connected with a different address connected to your internal customer for testing purposes. The reason why you would have more than one job site for a customer is maybe you service a property management company, or maybe you have a customer that has multiple residents. So just wanted to share, in order to get this to populate to see all that great information, is that you would need to have that set up under one customer with multiple job sites and have jobs for that set up in Elementime. I have the estimate that we exported over together. So here's my estimate here. I can see the comment that the estimator left. I can reply back. They see this in real time. You can reject, request a change, approve. It's going to keep a trail of all communication. When you approve, you have to put your signature here. Once this is approved, it's in real time. The customer or the contractor would see this on their end, and including the signature and any comments. Want to also show you the invoice that we had sent over. Invoice is here. You can make payment even though it's a test account. Once you have a merchant account, you'll be able to make payment. Just make it for $1. That way you can see what your customers will go through and feel a little bit more confident with what you've rolled out to them. Any payment that you do make, and maybe it's $1, maybe it's $5, you can refund that payment as well. We do have supporting articles. It's very easy to do. It's in the Elementime side, but in order for you to get comfortable with what your end customer will see or understand kind of the process, I would highly encourage you to activate invoicing with or activate payments with Card Connect in order to make a payment for a test invoice and roll out with your customers. Wanted to highlight that you won't be able to test the publishing invoice portion of the customer portal unless you have a merchant account. And the purpose of that is that we're not going to publish an invoice to a portal that your customer has no way of paying. So in order to do it, to test it, or to have it live for your customers, you got to have that merchant account. Okay. So when the customer is ready, they're just going to click checkout. Their payment information could be saved, and they'd hit pay now. Once it's paid, it'll show as paid on the Element Time side, and then you would export that payment to QuickBooks. So we've already exported the invoice. When we export the payment, it goes against the invoice. There's a few other options that you can have a look at with the portal, including like work requests. Would recommend testing this out. Your customers can submit a request from the customer portal asking you for work or asking you for quote for work. They can also take photos. So maybe they're looking for a paver driveway or they're looking for a patio install. They can submit photos of the work areas to be able to communicate more effectively to you. And now I have a question. Will we be notified when a client writes back a comment, or will we need to check for the comment? You can check in a couple different places. You can check in LMN under portal activity. You can also, I believe you would be notified that there is a comment. Let me just check my email quickly. New contractor, invoice, new contractor comment. So this is the comment that I sent to them. I could take that offline and respond back to you on the customer portal just to make sure. I don't want to say yes unless I'm certain. So I'm going to say, I think so. If not, I'll show you where you can get that information and I can respond back to you just so we're both clear on that. But I would just look under you can look under a couple different places. I'll show you what this has in store. So this just has the status. So it's still awaiting approval. And then if we go to to-dos and requests, nope, that's not where I want to go. Portal activity. Here you'd be able to see a little bit more information. So if there's been proposal changes requested, new customer comment, I would recommend if it's not available within an email notification that this would be your daily flow, is that you would include the comment or you would log in to portal activity and this is where you'd see any recent comments. Do we need to use your credit card payment processor or can we use our own company? So we're currently integrated with Card Connect. So you would need to use Card Connect in order to process payments through LMN. I understand that moving your book of business can be a big practice and I would suggest just reaching out to the partners at Card Connect just to start the conversation to see if this is something that you would consider moving over. I've heard very good feedback about their customer service. In addition, their interface is super easy to use. The main benefit for you switching processors is that you're giving your customers this tool where not only is it invoicing, it's also a way to get work. They can propose work to you, you can submit work to them, they can see select job site activity. A lot of those are attractive features for customers. All right, Holly, can you show where the client would see the invoice in the portal? Yes, so it's here, client sees invoice. So it's right here under the invoice tab. And if you don't see that tab, it's most likely because you do not have a merchant account with Card Connect. All of you, if moving your book of business, I understand it's a lot to consider, but just start the conversation with Card Connect. From my understanding, again, it's quite seamless, the transition, and there's many benefits from taking the time to make that decision and transition. But if you don't see an invoice tab, it's either because you don't have a merchant account, or the other reason could be is that you've activated your portal without a merchant account, and therefore the setting to receive online payments is defaulted to off. Where are you? Here it is. And then you got a merchant account. So if you activated, set up the portal, didn't have a merchant account, then you got one, this would be defaulted to off. You'd have to come on in here and flip it to on in order to see invoices that you've published. Okay, I'm going to, that basically is my presentation. Just if you do have more questions, go ahead and ask them. I'll try to get to as many as I can. I'm gonna flip it back to the PowerPoint just to run through the remaining slides. And I do have another question. I was told I am a foreman in LMN, and when I'm going to add my time in Element Time, I do not have access to import jobs, edit anything in Element Time. Okay, so I would recommend taking that offline. You can email our support or jump on our live chat. And if you are a foreman, then you do not have access to this information. So if your role is to figure out how to implement this in your organization, then your access is probably going to need to change. So please contact our support for best tips there, and we'll be able to point you in the right direction. Before I flip back to the PowerPoint, wanted to share as well, we do have numerous articles that were recently created to support the customer portal. One of those articles being how to beta test. So it's a very high level of what we just went through just now together, just giving you the steps in order to see what your customers would see on their end. There are tons of resources. Another one that I wanted to mention, I'm just going to pull it up. We have a customer portal guide, which is now in the top 5 resource articles that we have. And furthermore, that customer portal guide includes 2 attachments. So one attachment, am I looking in the right place? Yes, I am. One attachment here is a professional PDF that our marketing team spiffed up, if you will, that you can share with your clients. This is it. So you can give that to your clients to help them walk through what they need to do to set up the customer portal. And then the other document is a Word attachment. This one, I felt that it might be helpful for those customers that maybe want to put your own spin on it or edit the instruction. It would be in an easier format to do so. And both of these guides, or all 3 of these guides, they're all the same. There's just the web link, then there's the PDF doc, and now there's the Word doc. All of these are with the basic steps. So they're not permission related. So we're not going to show your customer or allow them to see the option that they could see more or less than what they can see. We're just giving them the defaults. I have a question. Can a customer make a payment without setting up a portal as long as they are using Card Connect? So the customer themselves can use whichever payment card that they want to pay with. So if you have ACH enabled, then they'd be able to pay ACH, or they'd be able to pay a credit card. They can make a payment without having the portal enabled by you sending them the invoice. So when you send the invoice, they'll get an invite saying, create a customer portal account to make payment, or click here to make payment. And when they click here to make payment, they can make payment using credit card for that invoice. And a credit card only. They are not able to pay with ACH if you do have that enabled as in the US where we take ACH. And the downfall is that they'd have to enter that information monthly, so they wouldn't be able to have that data stored. And then I'm going to take one last question. I'm going to flip it over to the remainder of the deck. I was asked, where do I find these docs? I'll just share with you. They're in our help desk. We do have our Zendesk help desk. You can access it directly within your LMN account. There's probably like 1,000 different articles. If you're like me and like learning versus a written guide instead of always a visual. I like to mix this up with our visuals, so I have something to written to follow along to, but I just search customer portal and I have all these guides. Forgot password. There's a bunch of good ones that have come up that are helpful. Work requests, proposal approvals, how to beta test. There's plenty here that would be helpful to you and of course your end customer. Okay, I'm going to flip it back. Give me a moment while I switch my screen. I'm almost there. Okay. All right, so in front of you, you should see our forms library. Our forms library contains over 700 forms and processes that are available for a free download with LMN Essentials or professional accounts. This forms library has recently been updated in the past few months with the addition of our CEO's webinars that he's been hosting. So most recently, he has the 7-part series. If you haven't attended, I'd highly recommend registering for these webinars. You'll find it on our website. They've had rave reviews. Also, the previous webinars are up there as well. So if you want to check out the other webinars that he's conducted, they're now on, I believe it's webinar number 4. So you can check out the previous 1 to 3. There's been a lot of resources that he has shared that have been uploaded to these 700 forms and documents that we have here. So they've been getting updated. We do have our Facebook user group and our LinkedIn group. If you're not members, please join. We're love to have the more the merrier. They're really good for pure networking as well as working together as a team to iron out different processes or workflow with LMN as a community. Oh, and then lastly, wanted to highlight that we do have the Virtual Academy. Virtual Academy, we also refer to it as LVA. We have 4 courses that are run throughout a day that are focused to specific areas of your business and are broken out into basic and advanced courses. They can be used as a refresher. They're also really helpful for training new teams or new members to your organization. We do have one-to-ones, so you can, every account with LMN is assigned an account rep. I've probably worked with some of you myself. Wanted to share that it's included in your subscription to work with us. The reason for our role mainly is to work with you on account-related specific items to ensure that you're up and running and feel confident with your setup and the layout and your understanding of the program. If you're not sure who your account rep is, please email our support, support@golmn.com. And we have our virtual workshops. So in addition to our virtual academy, we have workshops which are held by our CEO, Mark Bradley, once a week. And they're more geared towards new users, either to the industry or to LMN. And then lastly, free webinars. So this is one of them, our Crew to Cruise, which are held on Monday, which are short, about 30 minutes or so. I see that I went over a little bit on different subjects. So feel free to register for more. Look forward to doing more of these and connecting with all of you. Thank you. Have a great day.